They haven't communicated at all, and I don't know what to do. I have no job. I have no money.
What about some of the other people? Are they in similar circumstances?
Quite a few of them are. There are several who have no money to even find a job, go and find another job.
When you were there and supposedly in classes, what were you being taught? What did you learn in the almost 5 months that you went?
The dispositions of attitudes, the behavioral pattern, what to wear, the dress, and 7th grade and 8th grade math.
Did you ever learn anything about dry cleaning, or did they ever tell you when they were going to start teaching you actual?
No, we didn't learn anything at all about dry cleaning.
I think you told me they did bring in one sleeve board?
One sleeve board, and they showed us how to check in the clothes. That's all, and that was just before we left, just before the school was closed down.
What were the classes like? Well, what did you do all day besides listen about attitudes?
We sat, we talked, we smoked, we drank soda water, and whatever come across our minds to do.
Was this characteristic of all the classes, all 200 people?
Just about.
We do not feel that the schools are responsible for the increasing abuse of drugs, nor that total solutions can be found within the educational system alone. Drug abuse is a people problem, and prevention programs must involve the total community in a coordinated effort. Ideally, the ultimate foci of preventive education must include both the natural groupings of adolescents, so-called peer groups, and the family. For many, if not most adolescents, drug abuse is a group process. Despite the frequent tenuousness of drug group ties, membership in such a group has meaning to its participants. Prevention and intervention must respect the need of adolescents for group identification and participation.
I think the most important thing about the study is the fact that, we can stop our guessing game in this city. A lot of would-be experts are making all sorts of wild estimates about the degree of and the nature of the problem. Some have said we had 95% usage, some have said 5%. Some have said we've had a fantastically large percentage, others said none. We know now, as a result of this study, that we do have a real problem, and we've got to start doing something about it.
Does that leave you optimistic in ways to find solutions to the problem or otherwise?
Oh, without a doubt, I think the recommendations made by the committee are most constructive, and as I followed Dr. Lewis today, I cannot see any recommendation that he has made that does not appear to be feasible at this point for implementation in this city.
For a number of months, I have been in close contact with the original office of the Labor Department to try to work out some of the problems involved in the administration of the management of the new experimental job training program. Particularly our contract, unfortunately, our contract, we have been handicapped with some differences between the subcontractor and me. But I have done everything in my power to work out the verbal solutions. And I have at all times protected the students and lived up to the spirit of the contract. I wholeheartedly welcome the investigation.
We've got 500 people throughout the United States waiting execution. No state can execute a prisoner at this time because of injunctions from the federal courts. They're pending in the Supreme Court a case alleging that the death penalty is harsh and inhumane punishment. And the Warren Court would have outlawed the death penalty, which is society's shotgun over the door. And I have my doubts if they pass on that case for several years hence. Now, on the death penalty issue, Judge Blackmun has held that it was a constitutional matter. I mean, a legislative matter, not a constitutional matter, but that he personally was opposed to the death penalty. Now, if he goes on the court, he obviously will not sit in the case which passes on the legality of the death penalty. Therefore, if the court remains divided 4-4, as it's reputed now to be divided, it may be a number of years before they pass on that issue. In the meantime, none of the states can execute any of the prisoners against whom the death penalty has been assessed.
Nice meetings on Vietnam.
He could be a good pilot.
There are quite a few have gone to this Mr. Taylor and talked to him about their money and trying to get some legal way that we could get our money and a legal way that we can find positions, job placements to keep us from floundering around and waiting on to see what happens in school.
Do you feel that in a way you have been swindled by these people who are running the school?
In a way.
The forecast was very cloudy and thunderstorms when the Byron Nelson Golf Classic was postponed. With threatening clouds, all the golfers could do was sit and wait. Jack Nicklaus was one of those golfers. How are the other golfers reacting to the tournament? Is the delay really hurting them? Is it hurting you?
Oh, I think we get a little used to it. You know, it's we have this happen every once in a while, and you know, it's just part of our living and part of our life. You just sort of roll with the punches, and if you get too upset, you know, you better go do something else because it's going to happen more than once.
I shot a 66 yesterday in the Pro-Am. I suppose every golfer in the field tomorrow, when the Golf Classic gets underway here, they'll want to shoot a 66 too.
Well, I think everybody'd like to shoot 66. Yeah, unfortunately, yesterday was just sort of shadow boxing, and well, it's the tournament, of course, unfortunately was rained out this morning, and we'll go at it again tomorrow. And obviously, if you put 66 on the board and just once this week, I think most of the fellows would be very happy with it.
The 10th and 17th fairways are pretty well waterlogged, and there's a possibility when play resumes that at least the 17th hole will have to drop a par. This is Jess Brown for Channel 8 News.